Hey everyone, welcome back. As you well know, I've finally finished my A320 home cockpit. Now I should have done this earlier in the building stages, but today I'm going to show you the measurements that I've gone off. Now I did download some measurements and plans. While some worked out okay, some needed modifications. Some of the plans needed modifications, whether it be minor or major, and the pedestal is a prime example of that. When I had to fit the speed brake and the flaps panel just there. I had to heavily modify that actually. Without further ado, so I'll start this measuring, and I'll show you with my tape measure. So the footage might be a little bit wonky here and there because I'm holding the camera, but let's go with the side stick box first. Okay, so height on the side stick box. We've got 545 to the top. The material that I used here was, I think that's like 5mm ply, and this on the top, and I think on the sides there as well. So it's 545 at the height, and that's all round obviously. Now the length from front to back, and gee, I really should need a new tape measure, don't I? What's that, 450 that way. Now across the back of the side stick box to that triangular part, we've got 475, and at the front we've got 215. And along here, now this shouldn't really matter, just move this little tablet holder. Okay, we've got about 525 along that angled piece there. Okay, so that's the side stick box. Now we'll move on to the pedestal. Now I'm going to start at the rear. Oh no, I won't. I'll start it at the front. Okay, now you've got to remember I've got these aluminium angles glued on there, so they will probably add about 10mm. Like I said, I should have done this bit in the pre-building stage, or in the building stage. So with those angles I've got 550mm. So I would say 540mm across the front there. Now across down the back I've got 525. Now that is stepped in here, so it goes from the back up to there and steps out a little bit. Now that did step out a considerable more or less, I can't remember. Anyway, so I had to modify that a bit. So anyway, that first section there where you can see the MDF along there, we have 270mm, and from there, from the front, we'd call it say 565mm from the front to that first section there. So let's just recap that. So 540, 550 with the angle, say 540 without it. At the back with the angle 525. This rear section we've got 270, 275, and the top section there we've got say 565. Now just take you around here, you can see that pedestal is on an incline. So I'm just going to move this pilot seat out of the way. Okay, at the front we have got, I really do need a new tape measure. Okay, what do we got there? With that angle, 450. So I'd say without it around 440, but with the angle, 450 mil at the front there. Now where it joins this rear section, we've got 365, and at the back of this rear section, the same, 365, 365. Okay, so that's the pedestal. Now, this might be a little bit hard to measure while I'm holding the camera, so I might try and put you guys down somehow. Bear with me for a minute, please. Okay, look, damn. Really should look after my audience a little better. Sorry about that, folks. Alright. Now, the MIP frame, so I've got the MIP panels, so another prime example where I should have provided measurements before I put the MIP panels on. So going from there all the way along, so there, top, up the top, we'll go up the top. Okay, there to there, we've got 1065 millimeters from that exposed timber there to over here. You can see that exposed timber there. So it's 1065 mil there, but this is where it gets a little messy. There's a cutout section, obviously. So you've got the footrest there, and you couldn't, obviously, the table, which is not there. So on here. Okay, actually what I should just do is just measure the MIP panels, and then you can build around that. Now, I said it in one of my previous videos, man, there's a lot of needless materials needed, and needless cutting and making, attaching said structure. It can be really simplified if you got a bit of heads up, or you know what you're doing. I didn't know what I was doing, so I was just winging it most of the way. So anyway, MIP panel here across, we've got 540. Now I'm sure these measurements will be pretty common knowledge on the internet. Anyway, so the height, let's go to height, to the top of the glare shield there. What have we got? To the top we have 895. Now the bottom, well, the cat's got a tape measure. Jonty, let it go. Jonty, let the tape measure go. Thank you, Jonta. Jonty, leave it. Okay, we've got 420 from the bottom, but that is angled as well. So up the top, we've got, oh man, this is so hard, one-handed. Now I'm going to go all crazy and use my left hand. Oh, look at me go, eh? Alright, we've got 215 up the top. Right, need to sit down after all that, and I'll pop this down here again. Look after you this time. Alright, so this gap section here, we've got around 540 mil from the floor to the bottom. Now the of the framework there, we've got 600. Now I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing, under here, so from there to the floor is 600. Overall width, including that little panel over here where the speaker panel is, we've got 1270 mil, 1270 millimeters. Now, from the amount of researching I did on the internet, and I must point out I'm not on Facebook, so I didn't have the luxury of going into Facebook forums or whatnot. So the searching I did, the glare shield depth was a contentious issue. Some people were saying it's like 320 mil. I thought that's just freaking ridiculous. And then I found somewhere some dude said 55 mil, and I thought, oh, that seems a bit more like it. So I went with what dude said. Dude said 55 mil, and that's what I ran with. And my little detachable, rechargeable lights fit perfect under there. Now, just the top here. Now that, what's that? 310, but that overhangs at the back. And this is an example, like this was in the plan, you know, put this piece of timber in here, you know, like it's doing freaking nothing, mate. And there's, you know, more over there like that as well. You just don't need to do that. Just build enough to get that MIP panel secured. Have access to all your USB cables at the rear and cables for your monitors, and you'll be right. And it's all going to be hidden, right? No one's going to see it. But if you're a stickler, then do it by all means. I'm not saying it's ridiculous in doing so, but I just wish I'd known a bit more. Anyway, so I hope those measurements were enunciated to you properly, because I wish I had some of these measurements in a video before I started. Would have, you know, kind of simplified things. But anyway, that's it. That's a wrap. Hope I've helped at least one person. So as always, please hit that like button down below. Thumbs up always goes a long way, always much appreciated.